Oh, thanks. All right, so here's the plan today. We're going to talk about your syllabus, some paperwork, and take care of that. Then we're going to do our last round of book talks and sharing about our books before we dive into reading next week. And then we are going to take your first checkpoint assessment. So we're going to be doing mini tests today. And these do not count towards that 70% of your grade that I talked about, because they're not the summative tests. They're not the ones testing everything in your brain. It's just like a mini check-in. So it'll count towards the 30% of your grade. Okay? So here's what I need from you. I need you, if you have this, to take this out. And I only need the second page. Please make sure that your parents have checked one of these boxes. If they have not initialed or checked or X next to one of those two, don't turn it into me. Take it back home. Because I need to know whether they give you permission to show up in a video or not. Okay? Then rip it off, because I only need the second page, and go ahead and pass in your second pages. Please pass them into the middle, just the second page. Pass them into the middle. This is a homework score, you guys. So getting it turned in by tomorrow gives you a 100%. If you don't turn it in by tomorrow, you get a 0. That means those of you who play volleyball, you'll be failing my class, which means you won't be eligible to play volleyball. So get it turned in, please. I'm coming for them. How do I really only have wait, did the whole row do it? You guys all get Clipper Cash. The only row that everyone did, did you have yours? No. The only row that everyone did it. Oh, I'm so proud and also disappointed in the rest of you. That is talking without permission. You need to mark yourself down today on your participation chart. Caleb. That's okay. Everyone who's here in your whole row. Yeah. All right, so you do not need anything out right now, so please clear off your space. Yes, ma'am. You can keep it, for being honest. Thanks. Please write in your planner, though, if you didn't turn it in. Write it in there right now. Take a moment and do that. And then do I have any volunteers who are willing to share about some books today in English? Last chance to talk about some different books you've read in order to let your classmates know what you liked. No one, Izzy? All right, go ahead and grab your books and then come on over. And Izzy, do you have that zoomed in enough that not everyone's back of their heads are in it? So it should be mostly me, maybe a little Maddie and Crystal's head. Okay. Thanks, guys, for taking 115. Don't look back at the camera now. Oh, I don't have your signed permission slip yet.
You got my sister.
That doesn't help.
Aw.
All right, planners away. Everything is cleared off. Ready to show respect to Noah in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. No. Sorry, not today.
So I read Brendan Brown, Carrie, and Carol. It wasn't super duper hard, but it was kind of interesting. So this kid really wanted a dog, so then he stole a dog. And and then he finally decides that having a puppy is a big responsibility. And then the end of the book's really kind of funny.
Thank you for sharing. Many times. All right, come on, Ed. What you got?
I read Papacito. Yeah. So this girl named Valeria has a crush on this guy named Juan. But this Juan guy already has a girlfriend, and then she pretty much goes through crazy things just so that he'll like her, even though she doesn't. Yeah.
Why'd you like it?
Because it's funny.
Will you show them the inside of it so you can see? I know you all looked at it, but just to refresh your memories. So it's like a graphic novel, has lots of pictures and everything. Thank you for sharing. Oopsie.
please.
I appreciate your attempt, Crystal. I do. I appreciate your attempt. And now we like ran you over and almost took you out. Thank you.
Okay, I counted that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Here's the plan. We are going to have a checkpoint assessment on listening first, then on writing, and then on reading. When we are done with each part, we're going to go through and correct it. And by correct it, I mean I'm going to have you guys highlight or underline certain things that I'm hoping you'll have in there. Okay? Or I'll have you maybe count different details and different things that show up in there. So you need to take a moment, get a pencil, and then I'm going to have Trey or Peyton, whichever one's faster. Trey's faster. Pass out a piece of loose leaf to all of you. Make sure you put your first name, your last name, your class, and the date at the top. And you can title it right across the middle if you want. Checkpoint number 1. Or not. You can just put your name and class on there if you really want to. I got a little hungry. You can just throw that one away, Trey. There's just a little corner missing from the pieces. It's okay.
What's left?
I know, I'm sorry. Did you give yourself one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Ellie.
Get her whatever.
Jada, close the door, please.
Well, it's like when everyone flies, it's like those movies where it gets quiet.
All right. First part is going to be listening. So what that means is I'm going to speak to you 2 times. The first time, you're going to have your pencils down, and you're going to be tracking me with your eyes, and I'm going to be talking about the calendar. Okay, so I will be pointing to things, I will be referencing things that are written on here, which is why the first time I speak, you need to pay attention to me, because it will help you understand. Okay, then I'm going to mostly repeat the exact same things. It might not be word for word, because do I have a script in front of me?
No.
No. Okay? But I'm going to be talking about the same things. It just might be wording's a little different. That's okay. But what you're going to write the second time through is you're going to write in English. What language are you writing in for this part?
English.
Thank you. You're going to be writing in English what I said in Spanish. Okay? You do not have to get every single word, but try to get as much information as possible down on your paper. Questions before we begin? Caleb.
So, can we like say for Monday, can we do Monday, 28, and then...
You need to know, you're writing down what I'm talking about. I'm not going to talk about every single thing on here. So that's why you need to listen. This is just a visual aid to help you remember what it is I'm talking about. Yes, Noah?
What tense are you speaking?
I don't know. Probably in the past. I'll be speaking in the past tense because all these things from the last couple of weeks, they're not current anymore. But it's okay, I'm not worried about that right now. Thank you for asking, that was a good question. Last chance. Questions before we start. All right, your pencils are down. You are not writing the first time through. ¿Listos? Ready?
Sí.
Okay. Lunes, el 26 de agosto, fue el primer día de escuela. El 28 fue un día muy especial, porque fue el cumpleaños de la señora Hay. Y la señora Hay tiene 29 años. Otra vez. En el fin de semana, el 31, el primero y el 2, no había escuela. Sí.
Greetings, Lake Country Academy. Today is Wednesday, September 11th, 2019. It's time for your morning announcements. You may have noticed that our flag flies at half-staff today. It's because today we remember the lives that were lost 18 years ago due to attacks on our country. The losses were devastating. A total of 2,977 people were killed in New York City, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania. We'll never forget these individuals. Please respect the next few moments of silence as we remember those individuals. Thank you. As a reminder, our school carnival is coming up Saturday, September 21st, 2019, from 1 to 4 p.m. As you know, there will be games, there will be prizes, there will be food, and yes, children, there will be ice cream. And it's all free. Chess registration. If you haven't turned it in, you got to get that soon. Mrs. Smith has a bunch of forms outside her room. It's on a desk in the hall. Her room is 213, in case you didn't know. Email went home to your parents, and if they didn't get that email, make sure you talk to Mrs. Smith. She'll add that to her email list. Chess club's coming up, so if you're interested, get that information. Birthdays today, with 2 birthdays. James Canto and Delicia Morales. Happy birthday. Of the day. Did you know that the word cooperation has many synonyms? Here are a few to help boost your vocabulary. Unanimously, with one accord, with one voice, all together as one. Try replacing cooperation with one of these words. Let's work with one accord to win the game. See what I did there? Use one of those words. Mr. Schoenauer's wisdom for the day. Do you forget to put on your shoes in the morning? No? Oh. Then why do some kids forget to do their homework? Doing homework should be like putting on shoes. It's something you never forget. Which brings me to my next point. They say an elephant never forgets. But an elephant never wears shoes. So I wonder if they do their homework. Interesting. Quote of the day. Coming together is the beginning. Staying together is progress. And working together is success. That's brought to us by Henry Ford. Have a great day, LCA.
Okay, continuing where we left off. El 31, el primero y el 2 de septiembre no teníamos escuela. El 3 de septiembre fue la primera práctica del voleibol. Y el 5 de septiembre fue el cumpleaños de la señora Medina. Y clase. Hoy, gracias, we missed you. Es un día muy especial porque es el cumpleaños de Jaime, Greg, James, Santiago, Jeff Canto. Un aplauso para James. All right, grab your pencils. I'm going to talk about those same things again, and I will pause in between kind of each topic to give you a second to write. Lunes, el 26 de agosto, fue el primer día de escuela. See?
Should we like have a line between each?
I don't care. As long as it's all there. miércoles, el 28 de agosto. Fue un día muy especial. ¿Por qué? Fue el cumpleaños de la señora Hay. Y la señora Hay tiene 29 años. Tiene 29 años. Otra vez. Sí.
Should we write that how we would in English?
Sí. Either one, it's fine. You can write it word for word, or you can write it how it would make sense in English, it's fine. En el fin de semana, en el 31, el 1 de septiembre y el 2 de septiembre, no había la escuela, no había clases, no había escuela. Por 3 días. 3 días. 3 días fantásticos. El 3 de septiembre fue la primera práctica de voleibol. La primera práctica de voleibol. Práctica número 1. El 5 de septiembre fue especial. ¿Por qué? Fue el cumpleaños de señora Medina. Y finalmente, hoy es un día muy especial. Porque hoy, gracias Max, es el cumpleaños de James, Jaime, Santiago, Jeff, Greg, Canto. You don't have to put all his names, it's fine. I'll give you about 1 minute to finish up writing. It's okay if you don't have every word I said, as long as you have as much as I talked about that you understood. Yes. You should write it as I said it. Once you're finished, I want you to grab either a highlighter or a different colored pen. So if you want to use like a blue pen or a pink pen or whatever, I don't care. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. I am going to tell you certain things that I want you to look for and find and either underline or highlight in your answer. You don't need to highlight like your whole sentence because then you might be highlighting your whole thing that you wrote. Okay, just the main part that I talk about. Okay? How much more time do you need? Okay. birthday. And tu cumpleaños. Oh, catering food. Anyone else need more time to finish writing? Okay, Ellie? Just leave it? Just leave it. All right. With your highlighter or underline thing, whatever you're using, I want you to highlight or underline if you talked about the first day of school or first day of classes. So just underline the part that you have that says first day of school or first day of classes, not the whole sentence, or highlight it. If you didn't talk about it, that's okay, don't highlight it, because it's not there. Yes?
How about if accidentally highlighted some with one day?
That's okay.
Okay.
Then I want you to highlight if you included Mrs. G's birthday. So highlight where you talked about Mrs. G's birthday, or underline. Then I want you to highlight if you said she's 29, or if you said she's 29 again. Any of those are fine. Then I want you to highlight if you talked about having no school for 3 days, having a 3-day weekend, something about 3 days free, 3 days off, 3 days without class, there wasn't school, something about that. Noah?
I just put the end of the week, the 1st of August, the 1st of September, and the 2nd of September.
Yeah, no school for those days. Yes, that's fine. As long as you talked about there wasn't school on those 3 days, go ahead and highlight a section of that. Then, I want you to highlight if you mentioned about the first volleyball practice. Or first day of volleyball would be fine too. And then if you mentioned Mrs. Medina's birthday, highlight that. And last but not least, if you highlighted or mentioned about James' birthday being today, go ahead and highlight that. So there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 possible things that I could have asked you about. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. If you have at least 5 things highlighted, at least 5 things, so 5 things, 6 things, or 7 things, I want you to put -0 next to that section. That doesn't matter. Put it in your fun color. And if you have less than that, I'll take a look at it when I collect them. All right, next section, grab your pencil. We are moving on to, you might want to write a little like squiggly line to show that you're like on to part 2 of the test. Beautiful, perfect. A little squiggle, a little straight line, whatever, or just skip a couple lines, whatever. The next section we're going to do is writing, okay? I have put some phrases up here that you might want to use. Okay, using these doesn't mean you're cheating, it means you're using your resources. So let's quickly review what they mean so we're sure that we know how to use them. So en la photo, what do you think that means?
In the photo.
In the photo, okay. What does I mean?
No.
There is or there are. So no I would be?
There is not.
There isn't or there aren't. Okay, hace frío?
It's cold.
Hace calor?
It's hot.
Hace sol?
It's sunny.
Es?
Is.
It is, he is, she is. Okay, so you can utilize these phrases if you would like to. I would suggest using some of them. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the pictures that we all talked about with Sheboygan. Okay, and I'm going to set a timer. Oh man, does anyone have a timer on their thing? You can like set it to go for like 10 minutes? Okay. So I'm going to give you 10 minutes to write, okay? Don't stop writing. If you can't come up with the sentence in Spanish in your head, you may not write it down. No English unless it's proper nouns. So writing the name Blue Harbor, is that okay?
Yes.
Yes, because it's a proper noun. But writing like bicho, because you can't remember the word for beach, is that okay?
No.
No. Talk about the other things you notice. And just because it's not something we talked about in class, doesn't mean you can't talk about it. If you want to talk about what all the different people are wearing or the colors of their shirts, I don't care, go for it. Okay? Anything is fair game. And I'm going to put all 4 pictures up. You can talk about one picture, You can talk about all 4 pictures. Doesn't matter to me. Okay? You can talk about 2 pictures. If you get stuck on 1 picture and you run out of things to say, go on to the next picture. Okay? If you're like, I wanted to add more to my sentence, but I can't remember, just put a period and start a new sentence. I'm just looking for you to try your best, and I'm looking for words in Spanish. That's my standard for today. Pretty low. And for you to not stop writing. Noah?
What's the word of in Spanish?
What's of?
Day.
There you go. We'll add that up here, because that might be helpful for other people too. Questions? Actually, you know what? Carter, I lied. We're not going to do 10 minutes. We're going to do 7. Because we don't have as much time as Mr. D took it all up. Okay. That's okay. I got to get the pictures up and ready. Get your pencils ready. Think of it in your head in Spanish first. Use some of the phrases that I started with. And 7 minutes starts now. Could you even make up names and stories about the people in the pictures? Sure, why not? You're just talking about the pictures for 7 minutes in writing in Espanol. You can talk about what you see, you can talk about the weather, you can talk about where they are, what the people are doing, you can talk about what they're wearing, what they're watching. Go ahead and name some of them if you want to. Trying your best, that's all I'm looking for. I cannot help you. I cannot help you. I cannot help you. Unless it's an emergency, you have to do your best. You can talk about what's not in the picture. You can talk about where the place is, where it's located. Yeah, I'm not going to take off the spelling. Just try your best you can. If you get stuck, move on to the next picture. Or go back to a different picture. Use some of the phrases on the board to help you. Job working hard, keeping those pencils moving, doing your best work, continuing to write. stuck, move on to the next one. Go ahead and talk about the people, give them names, give them a story, say how they're feeling. How are we doing on time, Carter? 2 minutes to go. You got this. You can do it. I appreciate the focus I'm seeing as you guys are writing. You're doing your best. You're not giving up. You're continuing to try even if you get stuck. Time! I need you to stop writing even if you're in the middle of a sentence. It's okay, I don't care. Leave me on a cliffhanger, it's fine. I want you to take a moment and turn and talk to the people around you and tell them what kinds of things you decided to write about for the pictures. Go. Cinco, cuatro, tres. Tres puntos. 10 más tres.
13.
Tres.
Trece.
Trece. All right, draw another little squiggle underneath that, or flip it over onto the back side if you ran out of space on front. And we're going to do the last one, which is reading. Yes, Ellie.
So,
Okay. Goodness gracious. I'm going to give you approximately 7 minutes to do the reading one. I literally pulled sentences from all the writing we did together. So if any of you decided to go in Google Classroom and look over the things that I posted, these should be familiar to most of you. Okay? You don't need to write it You don't need to write it word for word. Okay, but you do need to make sure you include, come on. You need to include all the important pieces in there. All right, I'm going to read it out loud if that helps any of you. If not, you guys can just get started writing in English, writing what these sentences mean. So again, I'll read them out loud for you. If you can't see, can anyone not see this? Shh. Can anyone not see this? Not read it? Can you move it closer? Okay, go ahead and get started. I'm going to read it out loud in case that helps some of you. Hoy es miércoles, el 11 de septiembre 2019. That's just our date. El día favorito de 7B es viernes y el el día menos favorito es el domingo. Domingo está deprimido y llora mucho. El 28 de agosto es un día especial porque es el cumpleaños de la señora Hay. Ella tiene 29 años otra vez. A Nish le gusta la escuela mucho. El papá de Carter tiene un secreto interesante. Es muy misterioso. En la foto de Blue Harbor hay personas. Las personas juegan en la playa. Hay un lago grande que se llama Lago Michigan. Hace calor y es un día maravilloso. Take about the next 6 or 7 minutes here to write down what that is in English. As much as you can. It's okay if you can't get it all. When you're done, you can work on filling out your reflection sheet for the... No, we have one more class, our lives. So you can move your bubbles if you need to on your reflection sheet. And you can either write it word for word in Spanish like we read it, or you can write it so it makes sense in English. Whichever one. We got about 3 minutes, then I'm going to stop you. Change your mind, let me know. No? Thank you, though. I appreciate you offerings. Stuck on a sentence, skip it and get the rest. The worst thing you can do, salud.
Suave. 1, 2, 3.
Salud. We'll get there. The worst thing you can do is stop and not write anything else. If you get stuck, just skip that sentence and start the next one, or skip that word and move on to the rest. It's okay. 2 minutes left to get in as much as you can. If you finish early, why don't you check it over and make sure what you wrote makes sense and that you didn't miss anything. One minute to go. Get as much as you can. It's okay if you don't finish. If you're stuck, keep going for the next 40 seconds. Skip a sentence if you don't know what it means and get to the parts you do understand. Diez, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pencils down and grab whatever highlighter or pen you would like to use. I'm doing what I'm doing for a reason, so don't be like, why is she picking these words? I have a reason for it, okay? I promise. All right, if you included the word Wednesday, go ahead and highlight it on your paper.
Oh, I don't.
Then you can't highlight it, that's okay. If you had favorite day or day favorite, highlight that. If you had depressed, highlight that. Yes, Rachel?
What if you had sad?
No. If you had August, highlight that. Yes, Maddie?
When I was looking at August, I put S instead of A's. Is that wrong?
Do you have the word August?
Yeah.
Then that's all you need to worry about.
Okay.
If you had birthday, highlight that. If you had 29, highlight that. James?
I put B.
That's fine. It means the same thing. If you had school, highlight that. If you had secret, highlight that. If you had mysterious, highlight that.
I forgot the C's.
I don't care. If you had people, highlight that. If you had beach, highlight that. If you had lake, highlight that. And if you had it's hot or it's warm or something, highlight that. I think I picked 13. Yes? As long as you have at least 8 of the 13, give yourself -0. As long as you have at least 8 of the 13, give yourself -0. If you're not sure, I'll look it over for you. Please double check that your name is on the front. Please pass them into the middle. And then please take out your interpersonal communication rubrics, your reflection sheets for your participation for today, and make any changes if you need to in pencil to where your bubbles were from last time. And take your score last time into consideration. So if you were absolutely awful yesterday, but you were amazing today, it should be somewhere in the middle. And then tomorrow we will finalize our scores for the week. Gracias. Remember, this is for your eyes only. I did collect these from the 5th grade yesterday because I had them Monday, Tuesday, and that was it for the week. And they were way harder on themselves than I'm going to be on them. So if I haven't had to tell you to fix anything, or haven't mentioned anything to you, or haven't given you the look, you're probably pretty good for having all 5s, or almost all 5s. Just an FYI. After the first couple weeks, once I go through and change and put circles on your papers, you'll start to get an idea of what my expectations are versus maybe yours for yourself, and I think it'll start to get more accurate as we go. Noah?
So, I didn't have any side conversations.
We'll see what happens tomorrow. All right, please put your reflection sheets back into your folder. Please pass your folders into the middle so that it's easy for Trey and Peyton to do their job. Please make sure stuff is not exploding out of the folders. Clase.
Sí, señorita.
Gracias por aprender.
Gracias por enseñar.